Stop taking every investor. Say no to investors. And the reason why you have to tell investors that you don't want their money is something that is a twisted psychological trick. And once you get to the bottom of this, you'll be able to raise as much money as you need for your deals. So let me tell you a story about somebody who came to us and they had a big issue raising capital. They were this company that, they had some revenue and they were okay, but they wanted to raise money to grow their operations and then to buy smaller versions of their company. I believe that they were in what space were they in? I think they were in the e-commerce space. And this was several years ago. And one problem with that particular individual is that they were so focused on begging people to invest, and they didn't really care whether an investor didn't meet their qualifications. I guess legally was the only thing, but besides that, as long as somebody had a heartbeat and some money, they would take the money. And the issue with that is that if you're all things to all people, you're nobody to anybody. And by focusing on understanding a specific type of demographic, the marketing messages are way easier. The marketing campaigns and the ads are way easier. The phone calls are way easier. And the offering, you're able to improve it more specifically. But if you just take everybody, then the deal wouldn't really work, because from a legal perspective, compliance, and a marketing perspective, there has to be some sort of, dare I say it, risk tolerance based on what somebody's looking to invest in. So if you don't have those pieces of information dialed in, then you're going to have like a vague message that doesn't resonate with anybody. That's the first reason. And the second reason is people know when people are desperate. Desperation repels money. Money is attracted by like abundance, not caring about it, good deals. Like if you talk to any deal maker, love him or hate him, all controversial figures. Shaquille O'Neal now owns a bunch of big businesses. Donald Trump, love him or hate him, and the 50 Cent, who's now a business person. All these people, they focus on getting the buy-in, and they learn how to walk away if the terms don't meet their conditions. Arnold Schwarzenegger used to walk away from tons of movie deals, tons. And he already made his millions in real estate, so he didn't really need to make money outside of real estate to really live a good life. He just did the movies as a bonus. He didn't make his millions from bodybuilding. He didn't make his movies from that. He made millions from that. He made his millions from real estate. And he made his billions from business and movies and things like that. But the key thing that he did is that he never was desperate. And if you're never desperate, you're never going to care, and you're never going to need somebody's money. Because if you don't need somebody's money, then you can walk away if they don't hit your terms. And the last key reason is when you work with somebody that is a difficult person to work with, it saves you a lot of headache in the long run. There are some people that have promised people everything, things that they can't fulfill on. They've promised the moon, the sky, the stars, and the sun. And when it comes down to it and all boils down to it, they can't actually fulfill on the thing that they promised. And if you don't fulfill on the things that you promised because you're desperate to get a deal done, then the worst thing is actually, nothing worse than not selling anybody is actually selling the wrong person, because then you have to fulfill on them. And when you try to build returns for this investor, they're going to demand an arm and a leg, and they can sue you and destroy your company and ruin everything that you've spent years building for a reputation for yourself. And if you have any indictments from securities legislation, or you work with somebody that's particularly irate, doesn't have enough money to cover themselves, or is an extremely litigious individual and doesn't like you for whatever reason, then you have to spend tons of money on legal fees to deal with the downfall of your deal. So just to avoid all that, make sure that you work with people that have a certain tolerance and that are a certain type of person that is unlikely to cause you drama. And you can do court case lookup, look at Unicourt, look at Pacer, look at Google. If you're in Canada, look at Canly. Just look at these things and use these tools to vet the people that invest in your project. And then the last thing is that if people invest in your project and they actually are the types of people that like the way that you work, and then they like working with somebody like you, then you can build a loyal tribe of people that will sing your praises and recommend other people. It'll be easier to fulfill, it'll be easier to handle, you'll have an easier time managing them, and you won't deal with people that you hate who invested in it. So that's just it. Don't be desperate, because desperation repels investment. Be somebody that builds the type of deal that you have to push downhill instead that you have to push uphill. So with this, we'll see you in the next one, and make sure you head to raises.com if you want to get a deal started.